Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict place, this meeting of the Town of Harwich Community Preservation Committee on May 14, 2020 at 6 p.m. will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Harwich website at www.harwich-ma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner on channel 18 or by watching the simulcast. Note, in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to take a call. I'm going to call to order, and I'm going to take a roll call of the members. Starting with myself, David Nixon, I'm here.
Bob Doan here.
Mary Maslowski.
Donna Kalanick here.
Jim Donovan here.
Okay, James, welcome.
Joe McFarland's here.
Joe, are you on the phone?
Yes, my computer glitch here, so.
Okay, not a problem. Welcome all. Okay, that covers the roll call. Introduction to welcome guests, public comments. Is there anybody on the dial for public comment? Hearing none, we're going to move on. Approval of the minutes for the CPC meeting, February 4th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Motion
to approve the minutes for February 4th.
2020. Is there a second?
Second.
Was
Okay.
that
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have a roll call vote, please? I'll start with myself. Aye.
Bob, aye.
Mary
David,
Maslowski, aye.
Joe McFarland, aye.
John Ketchum, aye.
And did I hear Donna say aye? Aye.
Okay.
James Donovan, aye.
Dave, I think it's better if you called out the names. It'd go much quicker.
Okay, that's fine. Good recommendation. Okay, that takes care of that. Can we, CPC meeting for February 18th, 2020? Myself, aye. John?
We need the motion first.
We need a motion, David.
I'd like to, is there a motion to approve?
I move to accept the February 18th, 2020 meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second for discussion, but I do have a change.
Okay. Donna?
I wasn't unlisted as present and I was not at that meeting.
I have you down as absent, Donna.
Okay, I was absent.
So can you second the motion if you weren't at the meeting?
Yes, she can.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So roll call.
Okay. John?
Aye.
David? Aye. Mary?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Donna.
Abstain.
Okay, let's vote. All right, now we have the approval of the executive session minutes of February 4th, 2020 deferred. So we'll go to new business. Project managers review the written reports of the CPC projects and open balances. We'll start with the Brooks-Free Library. Does anybody want to comment? Question?
I had a question. So most of these updates are from March, because I think they were going to be given at our last meeting. So we probably don't know, in particularly in this one, where they said that they're waiting, they were in process of getting an RFP out. I would assume that any of the projects that probably hasn't occurred, just based on the current conditions.
Does anybody else want to?
I think they did get the RFP out and they awarded, didn't they? Am I wrong on that?
I haven't heard.
Okay.
You may be correct. I haven't heard that information.
This was for the structural engineer to design, to do the design for it.
Oh, I thought we were doing Brooks Free Library first.
Yeah, Brooks, statues.
Academy Museum, Donna.
Different Brooks.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Not a problem. Good catch, Bob. Not a problem. Again, I hadn't heard anything on it, so that was a surprise to me. Anybody else would like to speak on that particular subject? James?
No, I don't have any comments on it.
Joe?
No, I'm good.
Mary?
No comments. It looks like if I read it, there should be $270 left for us to rescind at some point.
Okay. John?
No comments.
And we'll circle back to Donna. You all set?
Yes, I'm all set.
Okay.
We're still talking about Brooks Free
The
Library.
agenda on my phone because I'm on my computer and sorry.
The Brooks Free Library has a remaining balance when the report was submitted of $19,850. And this is to do the statues at at the library. Because I thought somebody thought it was only $2,700 or something.
No, they've awarded the contract and the statues have been sent out, but they have not paid the actual restoration fee yet, only the initial consulting fee.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Is everybody all set on that? Okay, we're moving on. Bikeways Committee, crossing lights at Depot North. We'll start with any comments, questions. We'll start with John.
No comments or questions.
Donna?
No. Thank you.
Bob?
No.
James?
No, thank you.
Joe?
No, I'm good with this one.
Mary?
No, thank you. All set.
Okay. Recreation Use Services, the Brooks Park Expansion, Phase 4, Article 29. Any questions or comments?
David, it's
Any-
Mary.
Go ahead, Mary.
One question is, would we expect to leave the remaining funds in the account until we know that the Disability Rights Committee at the state has given approval on it? I would think we would want to leave the money there until we know that there's nothing else that needs to be done, correct?
Okay.
I just, this is Joe. I just have a question here. Sorry, it's so hard. Why was the state and disability, what would they have to comment on in regards to this money?
Mr. Chair, just
Go ahead, Mary.
through you, Mr. Joe, I was just commenting on what Eric Beebe had written, was that he was waiting on final approval. It's a handicap accessible bathroom, so they must need some kind of sign off.
I got it. Okay, good.
Mary, you all set?
I'm all set.
James?
I'm all set.
Bob?
Good.
Donna?
Yeah, I agree with Mary. I would leave the money there until the ADA board is signed off on it.
John?
No comments.
All right. That takes care of Article 29. The 2017 Brooks Park expansion, Phase 5. Does anybody want to comment? Would you like me to? Well, we got to take them individually. There's no other way to do it. Let's go with that. Article 30. Any comments? Donna?
Can you circle back to me in a second?
I can.
Thank you.
Are you asking me? I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's okay. Not a problem.
Yeah, no, I read this one. I'm good with this one. I don't have any questions.
Okay. James?
No comments.
Bob?
Can we take the money back now? It seems like it's completed.
Okay. Was there a number attached to that?
Yeah, it says remaining funds 6770.
Right.
And it's been completed.
Okay. John?
No comments.
Mary?
So I agree with Bob. I think if it's completed, then we should, somebody should make a motion to rescind the money and close out that article.
Okay, before we do that, can we save that rescission till our next meeting? There's going to be discussions with the Board of Selectmen and DOR over the rescinding process. So I'd rather sit down with the finance director and find out what those issues are going to be first before we take a vote, if that's okay with the board.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. Let's go to White House Field Improvements, 2019, Article 44. Oh, I'm sorry. Article 54. Get ahead of myself.
So I'm sorry, you're getting ahead of me. I'm following these as I was given to them as an attachment. Are you not going to go down numerically, 31, 32, 33, or am I looking at the wrong document? If you go jump 40 something.
What I'm inside, if you go to on the document that Jan sent out, for the it starts at roll call, it works to 5 new business, and in new business, number 3, the recreation and youth services, Brooks Park, it contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles.
Yeah, in Article 29.
Couldn't quite make that out, Joe.
I'm sorry, on Article 29, there's 5 items. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I have it here on my papers, number 3, and then all those articles are rolled into it.
Well, I got 3 different emails from Jan, and none of them the way you're reading this. I don't want to make a big deal. I mean, I know what they are. I've run through this with you guys for several meetings, but I just don't see what you're reading, Dave. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. This is the most recent download. This is for Thursday, May 14th, 2020, remote participation. It's the most recent email that she sent out to the CPC.
Okay.
To all of you. So, Joe, what I request is you just bear with us.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So let me back up. Mary, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to point out for Joe, there is a 1-page sheet that was part of the 3 uploads that had the Recreation Department CPA projects update dated 2/27/20, and that's what David's going straight down on. All 6 articles are listed.
Okay.
So we're all set, folks?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where was I? Article 54, White House Field improvements.
I think that's the problem. Article 54 is Brooks Park expansion.
Thank you. I see that.
Okay, I have Article 54 as White House Field improvements. I'm sorry.
I've got it wrong.
So let's go ahead with Article 54, Brooks Park expansion. Are there any questions, starting with Mary?
I don't have any. I suspect that RFP is still waiting to go out, most likely, based on the fact of the COVID-19, but no questions from me.
John?
I don't recall what Article 54 was calling for. So, anybody care to explain that to me in 10 words or less?
Even if I may, I think it's the lighting at Brooks Park, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All set, John?
Yes, all set, thanks.
Donna?
So just to clarify, this project hasn't been started yet.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think the ones that are that were pending, just going back to my previous comments, we probably need post-COVID updates on where those stand, because I'm guessing they got put on hold if they were in process. Or what the new timeframes would look like.
Noted. Bob?
No comments.
James?
No comments.
Joe?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, that takes care of that one.
And Dave, on my agenda, there's semicolons that separate the articles in there. And so I described the project first, followed by the year and the article number. So they are right. They're just a semicolon. So the first thing that you're going to see will be White House Field Improvement, 2019 Article 44. That's the next one.
Okay, so let's go with that one. Questions, comments? John?
I don't know. I'm lost.
So we're on Article 44, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I have that, quite frankly, I have that as sand pond restroom replacement.
Ooh.
Is there a semi?
So what I'm going to do is, since Mary, would you, at this point, would you take care of this particular grouping? Because everybody
Sure.
seems to be working off what you have in front of you rather than what I have in front of me.
Sure, it is the Recreation Department one-page report. The next item is 2019 Article 44 White House Field Improvement Scoreboard Netting for $55,000. The report simply says, David, that an industrial and electrical engineer has been hired by administration and the town engineer to aid in formulating an RFP for the scoreboard part of the project. A plan has been made for the safety netting that will be installed in front of the specter berms. The plan is awaiting review and approval from Recreation Commission and Highway Department. So they still have the full $55,000 and haven't spent it any yet.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Mary, questions or comments?
None for me.
John,
None for me.
Donna,
No comment.
Bob,
No comments.
James,
No comments.
Joe.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
So David, the next article is 2019 Article 43. It's the sand pond restroom replacement. It was issued in the amount of $125,000. Eric simply reports that the septic design and perk tests have been completed for the new restroom facility. First draft of an RFP for the restroom precast building is being reviewed and will be posted as soon as possible. They'll be obtaining 3 quotes as per procurement rules and procedures for acquisition and installation of the septic system on location. They haven't expended any of the funds yet.
right.
So it's $425,000.
Okay, Mary, question or comment?
No question.
Joe,
No, I'm good.
James. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Can you circle back to me on this one?
Go ahead, take it.
All right. I'll come back. Just come back to me later if you could.
Okay,
All right.
got it. James,
No comments.
Bob,
Okay.
Donna.
Does anyone know, was this project intended to be complete for this season, for use for this season or not? And anyone who's maybe on the Recreation Commission might know.
The answer to that question is it's unknown.
Okay, thank you.
John,
No comments. Thank you.
okay, Mary, are we all set on that?
I think we're all set on that. The last one, David, is 2019 Article number 40, which was to replace 11 lifeguard stands at the town beaches. It's in the amount of $37,950. Eric reports that the priority list has been formulated for the Highway Department review. Highway Department will be constructing and installing lifeguard stands on a priority basis until all 11 are replaced. They still have the full amount of the funds and haven't expended any yet.
Okay, Mary, question, comment?
My only question is for you, whether you know if they've started to construct them yet.
The answer is no.
Okay.
Donna,
So can I just clarify that you don't know whether or not they've started to construct them, or no, they haven't constructed them yet? And were they intended for this season as well? I would imagine, yes.
they were intended. Whether or not that's going to happen is unknown.
Okay, thank you.
Bob,
Yeah. Do we know if the Highway Department is in any position to complete this project at this point?
Bob, I wouldn't speak for Link. I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, can we ask if that's going to be on their list to be able to do? Because I'm surprised that some haven't been done already.
I'm in contact with the engineer over a few items that are CPC oriented, and we're in discussion.
Okay, I'm done.
John?
No comments.
James?
No comments.
Joe, you ready?
No, I'm good now that I heard through everybody, so I'm good right now. Thank you.
Okay. Mary, is the next item on your list the Cape Housing Institute?
That's the next item on your agenda, yes.
Okay. Discussion of the Cape Housing Institute, the 2019 Article number 40. John, any questions, comments?
No questions or comments.
Donna?
I'll just comment that I attended quite a few of these trainings. I find them very valuable, and just since the emergency state, they've continued to hold the Lower Cape peer group meetings through a Zoom format. Plus, they've hosted a number of educational pieces around emergency rental and housing assistance.
Outstanding. Robert?
No comments.
James?
No comments.
Joe?
No comments.
Mary?
I think it's, again, an excellent program. Glad to see that it's continuing, and no other comments from me on that.
Okay, moving on. Habitat for Humanity, Cape Cod, Murray Lane Project, 2018, Article 53. We'll start with Donna.
I don't have any comments other than I know Habitat has a couple of projects going on throughout the Capes, and they've had to suspend their volunteer usage, but they feel that most of the projects will still remain on track.
John.
So I just noted in their report that they were waiting, at least in part, on the water department, who weren't apparently working on non-essential projects. I just wonder if that's changed. I have, in some of my meanderings about town, seen the water department setting up water for other homes in other parts of town. I'm just wondering whether they're on this now or not. That's my only comment.
Bob.
No further comment. Everything's been said.
James.
No comments.
Joe.
No, I'm set. Thank you.
Mary?
None at this time. Thanks, David.
Okay, I can give you an update. Habitat had submitted an invoice for payment and to the finance director. And they then sent an email to me asking me to hold back payment of that particular project. They were using other invoices or other grants they wanted to get in a timely manner. That was the term that was used. So, but they will be coming back and they will be using in the balance of their account. So, any questions? Moving on, Brooks Academy Museum, assessment, restoration of the foundation, Article 2019, Article 41. Questions? James?
No comments.
Joe?
No comments.
Bob?
Yeah, my concern here is I think this has been stuck for over a year now, waiting for administration to move forward with the RFP. And just a general comment, a lot of these are stuck at this point, and I'm sure with the COVID and the town administrator, I don't even know if there's any light at the tunnel on a lot of these projects. Is there any way we can find out if there's a plan or something to move the purchasing stuff more faster or whatever?
I will put that question to the administrator, the acting administrator, and I will get back to you.
Thank you.
Donna?
That was really my same question too, just to find out where some of the projects that have been waiting for a while, what the timeline looks for them.
Mary?
Same as Donna and Bob, that's all.
John?
Nothing further.
Okay, I will, to the board, I will make that inquiry. And I will send out an email based on the information I get. Okay, the next one is Arbor House Ramp Access, 2016, Article number 30. Questions and comments? Mary?
No real question. Looks like it's almost done. There's $2,135 approximately left. So hopefully the timeline, hopefully they'll be able to get that done sooner rather than later, being that it's from 2016. But it looks like it's almost done. So building looks great.
John? Thank you, Mary. John?
Nothing further.
Donna?
Nothing, thank you.
Bob?
Yeah, the report says it's waiting for John Eldridge to finish it, and he's, of course, retired. So I think it might be to bring that up to Link to see if someone else is going to do it or they're going to pay John on a consulting basis to finish it.
That's what I thought, Bob, was that they were paying him to do it as construction work.
I will ask the acting administrator.
Okay.
That particular question. James?
No comments.
Joe?
Nope.
All right, hold on for 1 second. I just want to make some notations, please. Okay, number 8, Hinckley's Pond remediation and public access. 2018, Article 57. John?
Did you say my name?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything here.
Mary?
So I just had a question. It looks like there's, for the treatment and monitoring, there's $161,000 left. And did I read it correctly that they expect to do 2 more years of monitoring?
I don't know if it's 2 more years, Mary. As I talked to Hines about this,
Okay.
I thought it was 2 more testings, whatever time and place that takes.
And do they feel, David, that that's enough money to do to cover the remaining
Yes.
testing?
Yes, he does.
And I'm also I'm guessing that the public access is, again, similar to other items probably held up in procurement. I didn't see enough information.
It's interesting that that's one of the things I talked to the engineer about. Apparently there was a meeting of the minds with that, with Amy and the engineer. So there's further information coming.
Okay. Thanks, David. Nothing further.
Donna.
So can I just clarify a comment Mary made? So part of the 150 plus that's left is not just for the continued monitoring, but for the access piece.
No, I don't think so, Donna. I think there's an extra 75 for the access,
Right.
for the public access, and there's 151 that was part of the natural resources half of the project.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Bob?
You said they've been discussing the public access.
Yes.
When will you be able to announce something on that?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Okay. I was just
going to say Amy in Conservation was to give us the report on the land side, public access, and we just haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
And that may have, the COVID may have complicated that. The chair doesn't have access to the mailroom, hasn't had it for a while. Only recently they've either moved the mailroom. I haven't been in town hall, so I don't know the answer to the question. I've actually asked the vice chair to go, and if she was nice enough to go to see if there was any CPC mail. There was nothing there, but I don't know if something got lost in the transition or not. So, you all set, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
David, I'm happy to check again tomorrow. I didn't check yesterday or today, but there wasn't anything there earlier this week.
So the question I would have, Mary, do you know when public access to the building is going to take place? Will that be after Monday?
I'm hoping after Monday we'll have a better idea. They're making some changes where they're putting up plexiglass panels and moving offices around so that people in offices have the adequate separation. So the town is actively moving in that direction. So I suspect we'll know more after the governor's announcement on Monday.
Okay. My apologies. I didn't mean to get off topic. James.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see the public access piece move forward, as I think that was a big part of why that article passed. Wouldn't want to see that get not done. So,
Right.
Joe.
I'm all set.
Okay. Next, Conservation Commission, Red River Beach Shoreline Stabilization Project. Article 45, 2019. And there's no written report. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have some information on that particular project. Again, Amy has done some remediation at the end of Red River Beach as an emergency situation because they were losing, it was starting really to undermine. I don't know if they accessed the funds for this to do that or not, but I will be in touch with her to ask her that question. So, Mary?
No further questions, David.
John?
Me? I'm sorry, did you say John or Donna?
John?
Don. Me.
No, I'm sorry. I said John, but that's okay.
John. Okay.
John?
I love this. Yeah, I just comment, I do not believe any of these funds were accessed for the remediation that was done down there.
Okay.
It was done with materials on hand.
Okay. Thank you, John. Donna.
I just, my only question on the ones where there's not a written report is, was one requested and not received, or?
Yes, the requests were sent out multiple times, and I just never heard back from Amy. I'm not sure why. And when we had to cancel the March meeting, I also indicated that, you know, we're canceling it. And for this meeting, I knew I had those outstanding and I requested the reports again.
Okay, thank you.
Robert.
Yeah, I'll set.
James.
Yeah, I can confirm what John said, that no CPC funds were used for that remediation work. That was done by Public Works at essentially no cost. The main reason why the project hasn't moved forward is it never got approval from DEP, from state DEP, and it may or may not ever get approval. So it's held up in that part of permitting, essentially. So,
Joe, I actually, can I step in? I got a question for James. Is there a time in general that you deal with projects similar to this, that if you don't get an acknowledgement, not a yes or a no, but any kind of acknowledgement, does that just go by the wayside?
not necessarily, and I believe Amy is back in contact with them because she had to be about the remediation work. So I would expect there'll be some action on that in the coming months, but that's where it stands now.
Okay, thank you. Joe.
No comments.
Mary, did I leave you out?
No, I have no comments anyway, David. I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you. All right, next. Housing Trust, part-time coordinator, 2018.
The Housing Trust has now given us a report, but it was too late for this meeting. So the Housing Trust and part-time housing coordinator report will be at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Record storage facility, Harwich Community Center, Article 18, Year 8, 2018, Article 52. Interim town administrator. The administrator had contacted me and asked me the process for the rescission of that funding. We're in discussion with the finance director now on it. More to come. Any other questions? Mary?
None for me, thank you.
John?
None for me.
Donna?
So have they decided that they don't need to construct the records room anymore?
That is where we're headed. That hasn't been finalized. So, as I said, more to come.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bob?
Nothing.
James?
No comments.
Joe?
No comments.
All right, that takes care of that. Now, under old business, discussion of the warrant articles for town meeting. I'm going to lead this discussion off. I've had some, well, you've read some of the things in the paper. I've had some interesting discussions with the Board of Selectmen. My position has changed and has evolved through this whole process. And I'll put it out there now. I now believe that all the articles for town meeting should be on this warrant. I don't know how I'm going to ask now that at least you know what my position is on this. There's other discussions to go with it in reasoning, but I would like to hear what the comments from the board would be, because these are public comments for everybody to view. So, John, and the question would be whether or not the CPC wants to have the articles, all the articles that the CPC has approved, placed on the warrant.
Okay, before I give you my opinion about that question, there's one problem I noted in here. It looks like a problem to me anyway. I'll see what anybody else has to say about it. But in Article 31, Article 31 has all of the funding coming out of the Community Housing Reserve. But when we went through all of this, I guess in January,
yes, we did.
There wasn't enough money in Community Housing Reserve on the whole thing. So we've only funded part of it out of what remained to fill out the available funds from Community Housing Reserve, funded the rest out of the undesignated. And those numbers, I can tell you the numbers if you want. I actually put them in an email to you today.
That's correct. Yep.
So what we said in January was that $138,511.28 was going to come out of the housing reserve, and $111,488.72 was going to come out of the undesignated to fill out the $250,000. So I don't know what. I believe that correction has to be made, unless something else has happened that I'm not aware of to change all of that. But it doesn't look that way to me. So,
George, to answer your question, I'll be in touch with the finance director tomorrow.
Okay.
And discuss that issue with her. The one thing I can say is CPC got an infusion, and I don't know what the exact, I can't remember the exact date of that infusion. It was the second part of the state grant. But I will have that discussion with her tomorrow, and if you don't mind, I may have her call you directly to verify.
That's fine with me, but my only question about that, Dave, is if there was a change, we voted on that.
That's exactly right.
Allocation of funds. So if it's going to be changed, it seems to me, just technically speaking, we would need to vote on the change, and I'm not sure what the reason for that would be, but I guess that'll get clarified. So in terms of what my opinion is about what of these things should be on the warrant, I agree with you, Dave. I think if it's possible, all of these articles should be on the town meeting warrant, assuming we have a town meeting in June, or at the next town meeting we hold. I believe all these things should be on there. And one of my concerns is that this is taxpayer money that should be spent sooner rather than later. It's already set aside. It can't be spent on anything else. And the economy is struggling, and clear, that's not a mystery to anybody. And even though, as we well know, some of these things move forward at a glacial pace, even if all of these things get approved at town meeting in June, doesn't mean the money will be spent even within the next 12 months. But putting any of this off will just delay that further, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Mary?
So I agree wholeheartedly on both of John's points. Number one, I think the articles have to reflect what our motions said. If our motions allocated specific monies, then the article should correctly reflect those motions. If we had an error in funding, if we had wrong numbers, then we need to address that at a meeting before either the warrant's printed or like we had to do a couple of years ago and make sure that the motions are correct to change them. So first and foremost, I think those have to be tracked correctly. And I also agree, I think these articles should be on the town meeting, and I believe all of them should go. We have the money. We based our anticipated revenue numbers on what Carol really had told us were conservative estimates. So unless somebody is saying that, you know, we don't think our estimates are accurate anymore and we don't think that there will be enough funds coming in, other than that, I think we should go forward and put all of these articles on the town meeting warrant. As much as they want to pare them down, I understand that, but I agree, these are financial matters. If some of them will go slowly, some of them will go more quickly. The third parties, I'm sure, that are seeking money will need their allocations as well. So I prefer to see them all go forward.
Okay, thank you, Mary. I'm hoping it's just a clerical error in some way, shape, or form. But one more thing. Do we have an hour on this meeting? Is that correct?
You have longer if you need it.
Okay. Donna?
So I have a question about the articles themselves first. So two of the articles, one for the lighting at the fields at where the Mariners play, and the playground article. So they list what community preservation has awarded, and then they say total project amount, and it's the same number. And that's not actually accurate, because the total project amount in both those cases is higher than that, and the other funding is coming from a different source. So historically, do you only put the project amount as the same that you're funding it, not the entire project amount? I'm curious, because it's a little inaccurate.
Would anybody care to address that? I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Donna, I don't know the answer to it either. I don't recall anything recently in the last, say, 3 years that we have that we were a partial payment of. But I agree with your point, and I think if nothing else, it should be included in the explanation.
Right.
That the fund, amount to 50% of the project, and 50% is an additional 50% is going to come from the school department or
elsewhere,
or building reimbursement money, or whatever the case may be. But I agree with you on that. I think it needs to be clarified, at least in the explanation.
Yeah, I think that's just a transparency piece for the public that we're not, or their dollars are not funding the whole project, and B, that's not the actual cost of the project. So, in terms of, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Would you send me an email to that effect?
I will, yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a really difficult issue. There's some legislation that's pending about town meeting and the reduction of a quorum, and then what matters can be taken up. And, basically it says if you accept a reduction of the quorum, which is 10% of what your normal quorum would be, and what's that, Mary, in Harwich?
I think we're at 150, so a 10% reduction for us is really 15 people.
15, right.
You know, kind of
Yeah.
nominal, if you ask me.
Yeah, and you don't know. I mean, nobody knows if more people will show up than that. But the other piece of it is if you do accept that, then it says that you can only take up budgetary financial matters or things that the select board put on. I mean, I would argue that CBC is a financial matter, but it's not right now clearly defined what a financial or budget item is versus what isn't. You know, I'm kind of on the fence about this. Just if there is a town meeting in June and there's only 15 people required there, you know, that's a difficult thing to pass very large monetary items that are taxpayer dollars without having people who really do want to participate, but they don't because they're concerned about their own safety. Certainly if...
Donna, can I stop you there for 1 second, please? That's up to the Board of Selectmen to decide. I don't want to get into any hypotheticals as far as what will happen. If you could keep your comments addressed to whether or not you think that we should take it as the articles as an entirety and move forward, I'd appreciate that.
So I'm on the fence about it, but I would say that if they are considered budgetary financial matters and that is what is on the warrant, then yes, they should all go forward.
Thank you.
Can I make one clarification?
Go ahead.
So Don, I just want to make sure that I was clear on what I said. Our quorum is 150 people. I believe the legislation will only reduce your quorum by 10%. So we would be at 135. It's not that 15 people could ever be the quorum. And I say that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. I've read it on Facebook myself that people are speculating that 15 people could pass everything, and that's not my understanding of the legislation that I had read. So I just wanted to clarify that for the public. I want to make sure that I was clear earlier.
Well, there was certainly even a lot more than 135 people at town meeting last year. So, Dave, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you both. James.
I would support putting all the articles on the warrant.
Go.
Everything that I wanted to say has been said, and I agree with what you originally said, Dave. I think all of them should be on the warrant, all the articles.
Bob.
First of all, I'd missed the viewing the selectmen meeting this week. Did anybody view it and what the progress was? Because one thing from the week before, they were talking 15 people as a quorum. So have they been informed differently or corrected on that?
Robert, what I would say to you at this point is it's under discussion, but that's not part of our discussion tonight.
No. Was there more discussion on whittling down the articles and the imperative to do that?
No, not at the last Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay. I did feel that we could single out a few critical items that needed to get underway or the money needed to be spent. I know, unfortunately, a lot of articles, the under 50,000s were grouped together. And I think we can't undo that at this time. So I was more leaning to cooperating and coming up with the critical ones because a lot of them, just the way things are going, they're not going to get started before the end of the summer anyways, when the regular town meeting will finish it up. So I'm leaning more towards allowing us to whittle them down if the selectmen so desire.
Okay. What I think they're waiting for is a vote from this board on how we wish to proceed. So, was that Joe?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any more thoughts or comments on this particular subject?
Can I just ask a clarification? So are we going to take a vote now?
Yes.
And then that's going to go to the Board of Selectmen and they're going to take that under advisement and then decide what to do.
Yes.
And they still on their own have the ability to remove something if they so choose to.
According to what I read in what they're reading in that document that came down from the state, yes.
Okay.
We'll see. So, Mary, would you like to chime in?
Are you looking for a motion, David?
Please.
I would make a motion that if that at the next annual town meeting, that all of the CPC articles that were voted by this Community Preservation Committee in 2020 move forward on the 2020 annual town meeting warrant.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion.
Yes,
Bob.
may I? You had said at the next town meeting. Well, since we don't know when the next town meeting is, shouldn't we clarify that as the proposed June town meeting?
Mary, I don't want
to annual town meeting, so
I wouldn't lock into a particular date.
Yeah.
I would just say the next coming town meeting or something to that effect.
I agree.
is there objection to the next annual town meeting?
No, because
Go ahead, Donna.
well, even if they don't hold it in June and let's say they held it in August, it's still an annual town meeting because you haven't held your annual town meeting yet. So the next annual town meeting is whichever one takes place next.
Are the board members good with that? Hearing no objection, is there a second?
Could the motion be restated, please?
Sure. I make a motion that that all of the CPC articles voted by the Community Preservation Committee in 2020 move forward at the next annual town meeting for the town of Harwich.
I second that.
Jan, do you have that?
Almost.
Motion and the second.
Town meeting. Mary, I'm taking Donna because it sounded like Donna beat out John for the second.
Okay,
I think
now
you're right, Jan.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
again, discussion. Joe. I'll come back to Joe. Bob.
Because we've made this, if we go with this, would it be possibly interpreted that since we want all the articles, it's like all or nothing? And the selectmen would just say, well, no, we're not going to do it at the next meeting?
My instinct is not to interpret the direction that the select board will go, Bob. This is more what the CPC wants to do. They have their perceptions of the things that they need to do. This is the perception of what the CPC needs to do. This is what we need to do. However we vote this. Does that help? Or more confused? I'm not sure.
No, that's fine.
James?
No further comments.
Donna?
No further comments.
John?
No further comments.
Mary?
No further comment for me.
Joe? I think we lost Joe.
Oh, I'm right here. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, I'll take a roll call. We'll start with John.
Aye.
Myself, David. Aye. Mary.
Mary Maslowski, aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Robert.
No.
James.
Aye.
Donna.
Aye.
Okay. It's a vote. All right, next conflict. Oh yeah, discussion of the warrant article. Conflict of interest law for the municipal employees. We're all due for the, Jan, would you like to fill us in?
Town clerk needs us to sign a paper, which we can't sign, but we need to figure how to get this signed. I'm not sure how we're doing that. Mailing it? I don't know. At some point, I need to get a signed paper back to the town clerk saying that we've all received the conflict of interest. Acknowledgement requires the last page of that entire thing that we put our name on it, say what committee we're on, and we date it. And that gets turned into the town clerk as well. The test is needed every 2 years. Do I have anything wrong, Mary?
We don't need the test until next year.
Right.
And just putting that hold off on the signatures. I'll check with Anita this week on the signatures. I wouldn't worry about them for now.
Sounds good.
Okay. Did
I'm
everybody
sorry.
understand that?
No, I didn't quite get what Mary said.
It was gobbled a little bit, Mary.
So every year, John, we have to sign an acknowledgement as committee members that we've received the updated state ethics rules. That was circulated. And what the clerk's office generally asks for is that every committee member signs one sheet for each committee. And that gets submitted back to our office as a record that everybody has received the state ethics. At this point, with COVID going on, I don't think Anita is really worrying about whether getting that back in the next week or two. So I think we can wait a little bit and see if we open up by the next meeting and if there's an easier way to circulate the document.
Was this sent out in an email? So there's a link on the state website?
Yeah, a long time ago for the March meeting.
Sorry, Jan. We don't have to do the link on the state website until next year. That's nothing for now. You don't have to do the test over again yet. This was sent out in January, and we just hadn't gotten it signed at an earlier meeting.
I didn't get it till after the February meeting, and I had it on the March meeting. And I think I sent everybody the link for it. I can send it again. That's not a problem.
I can find the March email.
Well, we can, since Mary said we can wait, let's just wait till we're all together. Okay.
Fine. I'll see how Anita wants to deal with it, and I can follow up with you, Jan.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
The next agenda is meeting points. We usually have a discussion on when we set up for a public hearing. I don't know when that's going to take place for obvious reasons. We'll continue the discussion on that. I'm sure that's going to be up to the governor, more or less. And what I did want to inform you all, I don't know if Kim has sent you all an email that she's not pursuing CPC, signing up again. So I just want to thank, in case she's on, well, I just want to thank her publicly for the time and effort she's put in. She's been quite helpful. So saying that, questions, comments, John? Anything that may be coming up that you'd like on the agenda?
Not at this point. Thank you.
Mary?
David, I just have one question. I know with planning board, we typically do convene a meeting on the same day as town meeting. So we open and then convene into the town meeting. I don't remember whether CPC does the same or not.
No, it
I know
doesn't.
we have met before. Okay. That was my only question for you.
Joe?
No, I'm good right now. Thank you.
Bob?
Only to make sure we get reports from the people that did not report out this time, and maybe follow up if we had some follow-up questions, if we can get those answered.
Okay. James?
Nothing for me.
Donna?
My only request is you had sent us Jan sent us a financial report. And I would just like to maybe at the next meeting or the meeting after that, find out if that report has been revised based on expected revenue decreases.
Okay, I will request that the finance director be with us at our next meeting.
And if she can't do it at the next, because I'm sure she's got a lot of other things she's dealing with, I guess just before we move forward on any new requests.
Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else by anybody? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And roll call vote?
Second?
It was me.
There we go. Roll call vote. John?
Aye.
David? Aye. Mary?
Aye.
Donna?
Aye, and good job, Chair.
James?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
We are terminated.